Exactly 1 month back, I shared my story, I shared my appeal, and I shared my enduring struggles. This dark journey began with lies and slander spreading throughout the community in a cancerous manner. Every single attempt to seek help from our leaders and organizations was met with nothing but a lack of real concern and an absolute utter disregard to the gravity of what was becoming pervasive and prevalent all around me. It's like the walls were caving in. It's as if I was drowning. It's as if I was in a state of panic. And yet all these leaders were not just watching as bystanders, but literally turned their backs and walked away. What I am going to share with you will carry heavy implications for not just our community, but for everyone who has had even an ounce of doubt or lack of trust in leadership. Unfortunately, we've been plagued over and over with a system designed and operated to protect leaders with absolutely no accountability. And in the Islamic world, it has become so apparent to me that these leaders are there to protect one another, despite their engagement in wrongdoings and the harm they have and continue to inflict upon others. Today, I'm here to address two things: intentional malice and hypocrisy. Let's begin with the first. I was recently contacted by a brother who had been referred to Shaykh Yaser Birjas with trying to garner more information with respect to Dunia as a marriage potential or prospect. Just earlier this year, Shaykh Yaser had multiple conversations with him, the initiation of which Shaykh Yaser told him, "What makes you think you're good enough for her?" He would continue conversating with this brother, and as he clearly put it, Shaykh Yaser made Dunia sound like she was, quote, the gem of the community. And this is all while he was having multiple conversations with Dunia. Yes, this year. And as you're processing this info, thinking, wait a second, he's praising Dunia, all while knowing about her dark past, about her false accusations, about her ugly divorces. How could Shaykh Yaser praise someone like that? Isn't this the same woman that they claim they warned me about in regards to marrying her? Well, even more interesting is that he cautioned this brother that her ex-husband has been stalking her. Yes, he actually referred to me as, quote, a stalker. He mentioned that I follow her to her events and have even followed her to her house. And the brother also mentioned that Shaykh Yaser clearly inferred to me as having mental issues. I want to focus specifically on Shaykh Yaser Birjas. This is a man who has slandered me. This is someone who in the past few weeks I have been reached out to by multiple people who have shared their stories regarding him. His lies, his deception, his incompetence, his willingness to take stances contrary to the Sharia, and even being the one who they attribute their divorces to. This is a man who partook in a secret marriage, secretly marrying his student just some years back, and shortly after divorced her after his first wife found out. You don't have to take my word. Go ask Imam Spendim Najaku, his friend who performed their secret nikah. This person who deceives his family, his community, has taken advantage of a vulnerable woman who attended his classes and ditched her shortly after marrying her. Someone who has slandered me behind closed doors and from whom many people's lives have been adversely affected and resulted in depression and in suffering. The man who takes a lofty six-figure salary while sitting in his office at the masjid and then also charging $250 per 50 minutes for a session for counseling. Even his position on matters, he suggests we follow the laws of the land. Last I checked, having two simultaneous marriages or wives is not in accordance of the laws of the land. Allow me to clarify as noted by a law firm. In the state of Texas, there are a few situations that would make a marriage illegal. First, you cannot be legally married to more than one person at a time. Multiple marriages are not allowed by law, regardless of whether you wish to be married to more than one spouse in Texas. Any other U.S. state or even a foreign country, you must get a divorce before you can legally marry again. This man is a liar and a deceptionist and the source of much harm. This is someone who took a position that he spoke with the police on the day of the swatting attack against me and claimed that he was informed the call originated from my house. Yet he defiantly refuses to disclose the name of the officer. I have every reason to believe he has fabricated this story. As I mentioned before, the police have told me they have no record of speaking to anyone or any imam for that matter. And why should we have any reason to believe he's not lying? After all, he spread lies about me stalking Dunia and inferring that I have mental issues. This is the man who many around the world treat like a celebrity, even in our own community. This is someone that people treat as infallible. I mean, after all, he preaches about religiosity, about fearing Allah. Surely he could never engage in such. This is someone we entrust with our wives, our daughters, to provide them guidance and counseling. Well, if our community hasn't awoken from what Dunya was capable of, I honestly don't know what is going to wake people up. If you're going to blindly support someone with this loyalist mentality and be swayed with glamour, then may Allah guide you. The problem is we're all stuck in this status quo mentality. We don't want to disturb the peace, even if it's at the expense of countless people being harmed. I've come to know that multiple imams in the Dallas area agree with me, but are hesitant to speak up due to the backlash and consequences it can have upon them and their positions. My advice to them, fear Allah and stand up for justice. I do not want you to stand by me or to take my side. I want you to stand for seeking the truth, to position yourself with the side of justice, and to stop letting power, position, or authority corrupt our masajid, our organizations, and our ummah. And now I want to address the latter of the 2 points. The first was intentional malice by Shaykh Yaser. The second is the pinnacle of hypocrisy from his own colleague, Imam Omar Suleiman. How long have you known about his secret marriage? And do you not find your actions contradictory? Endlessly praising this man, not holding him accountable for his actions, and yet going after others for their questionable actions? Yes, even to this day, where is your integrity? Do you really stand by principles? Or is it just a matter of what is convenient and what is personally of benefit to you? I mean, go read your own article on Muslim Matters titled, "What Do I Do When I Find Out My Favorite Preacher is Corrupt?" Allow me to enlighten you with your own words. The power of influence that can suffocate the stories of your victims is far more dangerous. The power of having sheikh friends that will legitimize you for their own gain, not realizing or not caring that they're enabling your corruption. The power of having organizations still invite you to the programs to fill seats despite knowing about you, but not really caring about you or the people you will help bring to them. The power of knowing that otherwise reasonable people will probably support you anyway and forget that the victim could have been their own sister or daughter. Sometimes it's not even enabling the oppressor himself, but normalizing the behavior that one day bites you or your family. To the religious institutions that provide cover, you have a responsibility to your members to not put them in harm's way. The first responsibility of a shepherd is to protect his flock from wolves. If we haven't learned our lesson from other religious institutions that cover up, know that the person and institution will suffer if things are not rectified properly. If we're going to restore confidence in religious institutions, it's going to take slowly regaining the trust of the people by showing zero tolerance for exploitation. To the scholars and teachers that cover for their colleagues, fear Allah, for you are betraying not only the people, but our tradition. You too will be held accountable for legitimizing an oppressor and putting people in harm's way. If people see your association as a refutation of claims, you are the strongest cover a criminal has. Well stated, and I couldn't agree more. But let's also take a look at your advice, which is worthy of heeding to. If you're a victim of one of these people, don't be afraid to seek help. Don't be shamed into silence. Your job isn't to maintain the dignity of the one who disgraced you or to put your hurt to the side to protect others from having their feelings hurt when they find out. You do have a responsibility to protect other people that could potentially be victimized. I sought help. You and your friends played the ignorance card, looked the other way, and were grossly negligent. And yes, I agree with you. I do have a responsibility to protect others and will not be shamed into silence. Your community, your followers, your friends, your family, they all deserve an explanation. Not just trying to ignore this and hoping it will all fade away. This will go down in history as the test of your integrity. And Yaser Birjas, I do not even want to address this man, or should I say this person, directly. He has breached every level of trust. This person needs to be held accountable. And if the community, the masjid board at VRIC, other imams and leaders around the nation, and his colleagues want to keep quiet and protect him, what a colossal failure. And may Allah's wrath be upon you all. Me and my wife have suffered for a long time now. There are countless people who have suffered due to his deception and lies and his incompetent counseling. And to know that this person is secretly colluding with Dunia and praising her, I have two words: shameful and disgusting. In just the past few weeks, people from all around the world have reached out to me, sharing their stories, their pains, their struggles, their cries for help, and even their contemplations on feeling suicidal. They all shared and reverberated the same message. Everyone, every single one, every single leader, they left us locked in a dark and isolated cell with no oxygen, with no sight of relief, and with no hope. Their pains, their cries, their struggles, their wounds only compounded with every passing and sleepless night. But I want to assure all of those that are watching and living through that silent struggle, there is hope, and that hope is with Allah. I have received countless messages from both men and women expressing their unwavering support in a time when injustice has become so prevalent in our own communities. And to all those people who stand by me, I want to make something very clear. This is not about me. This is about all of us. This is about our children, about our families, our communities, and our future. We will not stay silent, and we will not be silenced.